KC Heart facilities have the capability to use two different digital modes. The standard digital mode that is used when the hospital or the facility is not attended is APRS, and that's configured on the radio, and on the computer you'll be using UIView to run APRS whenever there's not anybody at the facility. If, however, you need to send digital message traffic, you might need to change the configuration so that you can use SignalLink box as well as the FLDigi or FLMessage software. It's very important when you do that to be transmitting only with one control box at a time. So either the TNC will be in control or the SignalLink will be in control. When you first enter the KC Heart facility, you'll find it configured to run APRS using UIView on the laptop, and the APRS frequencies will be selected on the radio, and the radio will be locked. In order to do digital messaging using the SignalLink, you first have to change the frequency away from the APRS frequency that should be selected on the radio. But the radio is locked, so your first step is to unlock the radio. You do that by hitting the Set button in the middle of the radio. It should bring up menu 21, the lock menu, and depending on which side you have selected, you'll use the upper left or the upper right. In this case, the right-hand side is selected. We'll use the upper right button. We'll push it, and that'll show us that the lock is turned on. We'll adjust that to where the lock is off, and we'll push that button again, and that sets it. Now we can turn off the menu mode by hitting the Set button, and we're ready to change frequency. We change the frequency by adjusting either knob to the frequency we want to use for digital messaging. You'll then want to make sure you turn the TNC off. You can do that easily if the TNC is located with your radio. If, however, the TNC is located away from the radio control head, maybe on the roof, you'll have to use software to turn off the TNC. Now we're going to show you how to turn off the TNC using UIView. This information is also contained on the Yahoo group. First, you go into Terminal, inside UIView, and you'll notice a black window pops up, and you'll type the word XMIT off. That's XMIT space OFF and hit Enter. And if you're actually connected to a TNC, it'll come back with the message XMIT was on. You're then able to shut off the terminal window and shut down UIView. Once you are done using SignalLink to send digital message traffic, it's important that you reconfigure the radio and turn UIView back on. Once you turn UIView back on, you'll still have to configure the TNC to be able to transmit. You do that by typing the words XMIT on. That's XMIT space on and hitting Enter. And again, if you're connected to the TNC, it'll return a message that says XMIT was off. Then you can close the window, and again, you should see 6 green boxes if you're connected to the internet, and then you can leave the configuration running. Always be sure to return the radio and UIView to its standard configuration before you leave the hospital. So we'll make sure that both sides are selected with APRS and that the radio is locked. Only then can you leave the hospital. In order to use the SignalLink, you have 4 controls on the front. The power button, simple enough. Press it in to turn the power on in the SignalLink. Press it again to turn the power off. The audio levels should be configured when you arrive, but if you need to adjust them, the transmit and receive audio levels are the left and middle knobs on the box. And then there's the delay adjustment. The delay is how long it remains in transmit mode after the audio has completed. So you can adjust that as well. More than likely, these are already set, but if you need to adjust them, that's where they are. There are 2 ports on the back of the SignalLink that need to be connected to enable your digital messaging. The first is the USB port, like you might find on any printer, and the other is the radio port, which looks like a Cat5 Ethernet jack. The plugs are not the same, so you can't confuse them. In order to use digital messaging, you'll plug the signal link into the microphone port on the right-hand side of the 8800. Be sure you use the smaller plastic connector, which is the RJ12 connector, and not the larger RJ45 connector on the other end of the cable.